Hello again. It's Mike Carver with Wingman Associates. Welcome to this week's episode of Stop Winging It. And we're going to try to pivot a little bit from last week. We were talking about the boss-employee relationship for a couple of weeks. We're going to move into work-life balance, a topic that's been covered, just by tons and tons of people. There's volumes of work out there, but it's really taken center stage post-pandemic. I mean, during the pandemic and post-pandemic, this whole work-life balance thing has become quite the issue. Great migration, great resignation, Gen Z, versus boomers versus Gen X. There's a lot of things going on right now. What people consider to be work, what's not work, how do I work? Do I live to work? Do I work to live? Same old questions that have been around for a long time. What we want to do here is this week we're going to tackle just the work side of it. Then we'll go into life and we'll go into balance in weeks 2 and 3. And all I really want to do in this is help you to think. Is to help you focus on what is it that is really important to you? What do you value when it comes to your work, right? So here's some numbers that we want to talk about a little bit as we think about what's going on in the United States. There's about 160 million people who work in the United States. We are a nation run by small businesses, right? The small businesses are classified as those who have less than 500 employees. 99.9% of all businesses in the United States qualify for that. They have less than 500. There's 33 million of those. Of those 33 million, 27 million, or 80%, have no employees. It's a staggering number of people on their own out there, and it's growing. Pandemic had a lot to do with that. Of the people who work, there are 33,000 companies, give or take, who have more than 500 employees. The bigger companies employ about 54% of the nation's workforce and 46% for the smaller companies, right? In the middle of all that, there's a lot of data that's coming out now about just work-related stress and happiness and, what do people value. Currently, about 65% of people polled are happy. They're happy in their job. Of that happiness, 50% say they're actively engaged, and only 20% say that they're passionate about what they do. And a whopping 1 million people every day do not make it to work due to stress. That's a big, big number. So what are the things that you should focus on? Right from the very beginning, what I want you to do is think about, who am I? What do I value? What am I good at? What are my skill sets? Whether you're just getting into the workforce, you've been there for a while, or you're getting towards the late stage of your career, maybe looking for a change. In all cases, you have a choice. Right? It's your career to manage, not somebody else's. You have to take, center stage on this. You have to own it. And owning it means you have to know yourself really well. So here's one of the things you could do. Have you ever taken an aptitude test? They're all over the internet and they're free. And they help you to understand who I am, what I do. Am I good at this? Am I not good at this? Right? There's a lot of things that go into making up, the person that you are. And you want to then get feedback from your people, who are your friends, your relatives, your peers, who's your tribe, and bounce that off of them. You need to have some thin skin right here. Take it all. Understand that they're trying to help you. Seek help, right? Find out what it is that they're saying about you. How do you come across to people? So what's important here is, what do you value? What are you passionate about? Right? So are you the type of person that wants to be the leader? You want to be in charge? You want to run the show, right? You're more of a type A personality. That's okay. We need people like that to run the show. We need leaders in our organizations. Are you the type that has lots of ideas? Are you an engineer type? You want to build things. You're the creative type. Do you design? Do you implement? Do you execute? Do you support? Who are you? What is it that really lights your hair on fire as you go forward every day in work? These are the things that I love to do, right? Keep in mind, somebody said this. I wish I could find out who said it originally. If you love what you do every day, is it really work? It's a great saying, right? I would love to say that everybody wants to play by that, right? I'd love to say that the work-life balance is not an issue because most people every day, they love what they do so much, it's really not work. That's just not true. And we all know it's just not true. So if you're going to take control of the work side of this equation, you got to know who you are, right? You got to understand, why do you work? What is the reason? Do you work to live or do you live to work, right? Is the most important thing work, or is the most important thing what happens after work? Or is there a blend in there? And that's what we're going to be talking about these 3 weeks. So are you a cause person? Do you have a cause? Do you reach out and affiliate with and have an affinity towards companies that represent a certain cause, something that's really, really important to you? Millions of people do, right? Millions of people want to work for certain kinds of organizations, affiliate themselves with certain kinds of people because they believe in what they do, the cause that they stand for, so much so that they will get the education, they will get the experience so they can be considered to work in those kinds of organizations, whatever they may be, right? So that's something that's really important to figure out for yourself. Are you a support person? Do you come alongside people? Do you love helping others succeed, right? Millions of people do that. It's super, super important to them to watch other people succeed. It's a great place to be. They lead that way. And that's a great way to lead as well, all along. So as long as you're passionate about it and you understand the value that you bring to it, now you're in a good position. So get help, take some tests, and understand what drives you. Why is that important? For yourself, what are your core values? What are your goals and objectives? If you can't answer some of these basic questions, go do your homework, right? Really understand what's making you tick, what brings value into your life, and then, if at all possible, try to affiliate with an organization that matches up to that, not the other way around. You can't change a culture. You can't change an organization by yourself. You want to come in and know who you are, know what you're doing, and already appreciate what they're doing, and then you get to add into it, right? And if you're an entrepreneur and you want to start a business because you think you can do better than everybody else, what's that going to take? That's a wonderful idea, right? Millions of people do it all the time, more now because of the pandemic. But there's having a great idea, a better mousetrap, being able to say I can do it on my own is one thing. But then there's 27 other hats you got to wear to run the business. Surround yourself with great people, right? That's what you really want to do. All right. So those are the things that you got to do to prepare yourself, right? Because there's no perfect job. Let's be honest. There's pros and cons to every job. There's not a perfect position out there, but there's something that is probably going to resonate more with you if you give this some thought. So what are some obstacles that get in the way, right? Some things that get in the way right now are, people want what they want and they want it right now. There's not a lot of patience. There's not a lot of consideration given to experience, putting in your dues, right? Earning the right to be considered for this job, this promotion, to join this kind of company, when it's all about you. I want what I want and I want it right now. You have this fear of missing out. You want what they've got, but you don't really want to work as hard as they did to get it, right? Anything that sounds like that doesn't go over well. In fact, most people don't want to really affiliate with people that sound like that all the time, right? The better way to go is, how do I come alongside? What do I need to learn first? How can I not try to always be the smartest person in the room? Those things seem to resonate with other people, and they will bode well for you long distance down the hall as you keep looking at different kinds of jobs throughout your career. On the other side, what are some things that just work? And they work all the time. They're simple things, really. You take the eye out of it. But what you really want to do is manners matter. Body language matters. Politeness matters. Look up, speak up, get your head up, right? Yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Little things go a long way. Pay attention to the small details, right? Do things without being asked. Show up on time. Respect the office, even if you don't like the person in that office. You may want that office someday. Respect the office, right? These are the things, help and support people, right? Lead from the middle, maybe lead from the bottom if you need to get noticed, to help people understand what you really value, right? Hold your core values intact at all times, right? These things will set you apart from others as you start to say, how can I advance? How can I do better? If I'm running a company, how can I build a better culture? Those are the things that will resonate and hold people in and retain top talent when you start thinking like that. So what, right? Who cares? What's this all about? Look, at the end of the day, 83% of the people polled say that they suffer from work-related stress. of those people, 76% said it affects their personal relationships. That's a big number. And to cut down on stress is to do the things that you love, right? You can't change a culture overnight, but you can affiliate with certain people. You can do certain things. You can follow passions. You can find out the way you're hardwired, and then you can go down that path. And you can reduce or mitigate a lot of what might be available to everybody else out there in the world of stress. We don't want that. What we do want is we want you to consider all these things, right? These aren't trying to make you go crazy. There's a lot of information here that's out. It's available to you. There's a ton of resources available on all this. What you do for a living matters, right? If you break it down into thirds, you're going to sleep for a third, you're going to work for a third, and you're going to play for a third. What you do for the third that you're working, it really matters. Take the time to learn yourself. Who are you, and what do you want to be when it's all said and done, right? Look, thanks for taking the time to listen. If you've got questions, if this is brought up, I'd like to talk to somebody about this. This is what we do at Wingman. We'd love to help you. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe. We'd love to get your feedback. And we appreciate you watching.